Have you ever been reading maybe an old poem and you see these little apostrophes kind of stuck in the middle of words? Well, guess what? They're not mistakes. They're actually part of this hidden art within our language, a technique for dropping letters and sounds to create a really specific effect. And it has a name, elision. So let's get into it.
Just think about how you talk every single day. When you're just chatting, are you carefully saying, I am going to the store? Or does it just kind of slip out as gonna? Do you hit that hard G at the end of send-in, or does it soften up into send-in? Yeah, I bet you do this all the time and you don't even realize it.
Well, here's the cool part. That little shortcut you're taking in your daily speech, it's actually a super sophisticated literary device. It's called elision, and it's the very same tool that writers like Shakespeare and Dickens used to make their work legendary. Wild, right?
Okay, so what is this thing officially? Let's break down what it is and see how this super simple idea actually works. At its heart, elision is just about taking something out. You're removing a sound or a letter from a word, all to make it shorter and faster to say. Now, the key thing here is that the part you're getting rid of is almost always an unstressed syllable. So the main important sound of the word, that stays put.
The process itself is unbelievably simple. Let's walk through it. You start with a word like over. You can hear that the V sound is kind of soft, it's unstressed, so we can just take it out. And to show everyone that a letter used to be there, you pop in an apostrophe. And boom, you get or. Just like that, a two-syllable word becomes one syllable.
Now, this ability to control syllables, this is exactly why elision became a secret weapon for poets. For hundreds of years, poets have been using it to get the rhythm and the music of their lines just right.
I mean, take a look at the master, William Shakespeare. This line comes from one of his famous sonnets, which have a really strict 10-syllable beat. But the word wandering has 3 syllables. That would have thrown the whole rhythm off. So what does he do? He uses elision, turns it into wandering, a 2-syllable word that fits the meter perfectly. It's genius.
And he does it again right at the end of the poem. Proved and loved are 1-syllable words. By spelling them out as proved and loved, he makes it crystal clear, ensuring the lines have this really strong, punchy rhythm that just sticks in your head.
And it wasn't just Shakespeare. Oh no, check this out from the great poet John Keats. He does the exact same thing. Instead of writing it is, which is 2 syllables, he uses the elision tis. And why? You guessed it, to make sure his line fit that strict metrical pattern he was going for. It really shows you how poets use this like a surgical tool. So the takeaway for poetry is this. Elision is all about control. It lets the poet basically add or, usually subtract syllables whenever they need to, just to keep that perfect song-like rhythm going. It's all about crafting the sound of the language.
But elision isn't just about rhythm. Let's switch gears from poetry to novels, because in prose, it creates a totally different effect, authenticity. Writers use it to make their characters sound like real people. Take this line from Harper Lee's masterpiece. The character here isn't speaking perfect textbook English, right? By writing send in and leaving, Lee is using elision to capture a very specific way of talking. When she drops that hard G, it helps us, the reader, actually hear the character's voice in our heads. It makes them feel so much more real.
Oh, and Charles Dickens was an absolute master of this. Just look at how he layers these elisions. The other becomes t'other. Talking becomes a talkin'. By stacking them up like this, he creates this really rich, textured dialect that tells you everything you need to know about the character's background without ever saying a word about it. It's pure show, don't tell.
Okay, so right about now you might be thinking, hold on a second, isn't this just a contraction? That is an excellent question, and it's something a lot of people get mixed up. They look alike, sure, they both use apostrophes, but they're doing fundamentally different jobs. So let's clear this up once and for all. Elision happens to one single word. Think about how because loses its first syllable to become cause. It's an act of reduction. A contraction, on the other hand, is all about combination. It takes 2 words like do and not and squishes them together to make a new one, don't. So, a simple way to remember it is elision subtracts, contraction combines.
All right, so we've seen it in poetry, we've seen it in prose, we know what it is and what it isn't, so let's bring it all home. What's the big payoff? Why do writers even bother with this?
Well, it really all boils down to these key reasons. Like we saw with Shakespeare and Keats, it's absolutely crucial for keeping the meter and rhythm in poetry. In novels,
It's the secret sauce for writing dialogue that sounds real and tells you about a character. And really, in any kind of writing, it can just make a line flow better, giving it a more informal, conversational vibe that really connects with the person reading it.
So now you're in on the secret. The next time you're listening to a song and a lyric kind of bends a word to fit the beat, or you're reading a book and a character's dialogue is spelled a little differently, you'll know exactly what's going on. That's the art of elision. The only question now is, where are you going to spot it first?